Hello and welcome to another episode of Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie and I'm the host for today's show. Now, no wins for England over the weekend, which is probably not the best preparation going into an upcoming tournament. But what we'll do tonight is review the matches and look at the positives and negatives. To be fair, there's probably more negatives than positives, but hey, that's the way it goes sometimes. So let's begin with the Italy game first. So Southgate deployed a 3-4-3 formation, Pope in goal, Walker as the right-sided centre-back with Eric Dyer and Maguire, which is obviously a controversial selection there amongst fans. Then in midfield, you had James, Bellingham, Rice, Saka on the left-hand side, and then you had Foden, Kane, and Sterling. So, as to be brutally honest, this match was a bit of a ball fest for me, so not much to review in terms of the action of the game. But I think before the game, I was more excited to see the Italian midfielder Nicola Barella play, who we all know is a top midfielder and has been linked with a move to the Premier League. So that was the one player that I was looking out for during this fixture. In regards to England, the goal that was conceded was definitely a poor one. Pretty much schoolboy defending, in my opinion. Bonucci hits a straightforward long ball pass into the box. Walker misjudges the bounce, and that allows Raspadori to control the ball, take a turn, and smash the ball in the corner. England, for me, didn't have a lot of chances in this game and never really looked like troubling the opposition. I think the closest that England came was when Harry Kane had a double shot, I think around the 75th minute, saved by Donnarumma. But other than that, I didn't really see any concrete chances from England. They weren't very creative in this game. Pretty much played on the back foot, which for a team of England's quality, it's not the right way to set up, but that comes from the coach in that regards. Italy were more clinical when required. I think a moment of magic won them the game. So overall, a disappointing performance for the Three Lions, and this led to a lot of backlash from fans and the media regarding Southgate's position. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Gareth Southgate. True, and honestly speaking, it's because I'm not a big fan of his sort of philosophy and approach to games. I think he's far too negative and has a defensive approach. But there's no way that you should be dismissing a manager just before the World Cup. It makes no sense. So for people to say that out loud, especially from ex-players and people that are respected in the media, I think it's a ludicrous thing to say at this stage of the season. Who would you replace him? There's no one ready-made to come into that role. So it's yes, the performance wasn't great. It was below par, but that's football. You got to move on. And speaking of moving on, there was another game that took place afterwards. So that was England versus Germany. So before the game even began, big news surrounding the omission of Tomori and Trent Alexander-Arnold from the matchday squad. Now, I think it's ludicrous. Not even ludicrous. I think it's ridiculous that both players didn't even get a minute between them in both fixtures. And honestly speaking, I think both players should be starting for this England team. That's how really highly I rate both of these players, especially Tomori, who's been fantastic since he joined AC Milan, and he should be a star in that World Cup team. Whether it's in a back three or back four, he can play in both roles. So I don't know. That's not how Southgate sees it, but it is what it is in that regards. Trent Alexander-Arnold, obviously, as you know, I'm a Liverpool fan, so from a selfish point of view, I hope he doesn't get selected for the World Cup squad. For me, he's a generational talent. I'm not the only one that says that. A lot of other people do as well. And for me, Southgate is just showing him complete disrespect by selecting him, not playing him. His selection was a complete waste of time. And for Liverpool's sake, I hope he doesn't get picked for the World Cup squad and instead get some time off, recharge for the second half of the season. For me, that's more important as a Liverpool fan. So if he's not going to play, I don't feel like he should be even on the plane to the World Cup. It's just a waste of time, a waste of his talent, as he deserves a lot more respect in that regards. But back to the game, it was a more entertaining encounter with plenty of goals. It feels like the players were released from their shackles and given the freedom to actually go out there and express themselves, which wasn't the case against Italy. The formation that was selected for this game was a 3-4-2-1. So a slight sort of tactical change from Gareth Southgate in terms of the final third. So in this game, he had Pope in goal, so he didn't really play Ramsdale, which is a slight surprise. I would have expected him to have started one of the games. Then the back three was Stones, Dyer, and Maguire. And then it was James, Bellingham, Rice, and Shaw, and Foden, Sterling, and then Kane leading the line. So, well, then the best of starts for England. Concede a penalty from the chosen one right now, Harry Maguire. Look, I'm not going to give him abuse. He's already getting that from fans from social media. But there's a reason why most fans, and surprisingly, that includes United fans as well, are saying that he needs to be dropped. He's not good enough to play for England. I don't know what Gareth Southgate sees in him, to be brutally honest. It was so evident that he was off the pace completely. It showed that he didn't play or hasn't played a lot of competitive football in quite a while. Against a strong opposition in the World Cup, he would get smoked, and that's the honest truth. But back to the game, obviously England conceded a penalty. Lovely execution by Gundogan, hitting the back of the net, bottom corner there. Germany make it 2-0 with a fantastic strike from Havertz, unstoppable, beautifully curled shot, top bins, great goal from him. Luke Shaw manages to get a fluky goal. Still played awful in my opinion, and honestly shouldn't have been involved, but leave that to Southgate to decide on his position. Mason Mount smashes the equaliser for England. Great finish from him. It was his first goal in 16 England appearances, which was quite a bit of a surprise. I feel like he would have been more involved as he plays in a more advanced role for England. But he's got a lot of makeup to do. I think he needs to get his shooting boots on for the World Cup, and there's a lot of competition for that role in the team. Later on, England were awarded a Bellingham, and I think it was the right decision. Another great penalty in the game. This time it came from Harry Kane. Top bins, unstoppable. But kind of like the tale of England, unfortunately. Goalkeeping errors cost him the points. And it happened again, unfortunately. Havertz was able to get the loose ball off Pope, and he slots it in to make it 3-3. So bit hard done by in terms of the result. I think people would have expected the win, considering how we played. But nevertheless, a better performance from England. Scoreline has to be a concern. Conceding so many goals despite playing a back three doesn't really show great tactics from Southgate, in my opinion. But I've been banging on about formation and tactics, so let's talk about that. It's a big talking point amongst fans. What is England's best formation? So, having looked at the last good 5 or so games in terms of what formation England have played, Southgate has played 3-4-3, 3-5-2, 3-4-2-1, 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, and 4-4-2. I feel like I'm saying a lot of numbers here, but if you get the gist, it's just different formations. But I have my opinion in terms of what formation I think is suited for this England team, and I believe it's a 4-2-3-1. I believe England have the right type of players to deploy that formation. I think it allows England to play free-flowing football as they have a number 10 to kind of make things happen. And it also gives them a stability at the back where they have 2 DMs protecting the back 4. So it's a win-win formation in my opinion. But I think Gareth Southgate will favour 3 at the back. If I was to make a prediction, I think he will predominantly play a 3-4-2-1 formation, same formation that he played against Germany. To some, it may seem like a traditional 3-4-3, but it's slightly different. I think he wants his wide attackers to play more as inside forwards, so the wing backs have more space to bomb forward, which makes sense in terms of how he set up the team. But I think looking at the squad, England aren't blessed with a lot of centre mids. Apart from Bellingham, I think he's the only number 8 or a box-to-box midfielder. The rest for me are either number 6s or the number 10s. So that's why I would personally play a 4-2-3-1 formation. I think it's the best one that's suited to this team. But hey, we'll see how it goes. We have just under 2 months before the final squad is announced. So we'll have to be patient in terms of seeing what the final squad looks like. A lot can happen. A lot of football is going to be played with the return of the Premier League this season. So we'll see how it goes. Long way to go before the World Cup begins, but a bit of a taste into how England have performed. Hopefully, it's not what we've seen in the last few days, and hopefully it gets better. But that concludes the show for tonight. So thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. The next show will be taking place on Thursday at 11 p.m. UK time, which will be a Premier League preview show. So 2 big games taking place this weekend, including the North London Derby and the Manchester Derby. So a lot to talk about on that episode. Exciting stuff. Great to have the Premier League back. We can kind of get back into our FPL team mode as well. So yeah, back to normality in terms of our club. Thank you again for tuning in, guys. Take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all very soon. Good night.